Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, Massenomics fans. We're here in Massenomics Studios for episode 228 of the Massenomics podcast. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
228. We've got a guest today, a special guest. Funny thing about that, we don't even know his name.
Don't know a thing about our guest other than they have an Instagram account that we're familiar with.
Yeah. So this will be a very exciting interview.
And we kept
today.
it that way. We wanted to have nothing to go off of here.
Right. And if you're reading the title of this episode, you already know our guest is the Mr. Immortal Barbell. I think it's a man.
We don't even know if it's a man or a woman.
Yeah, it could be a woman.
We don't know. We didn't ask any questions ahead of time. We want to be as surprised as all the listeners.
Yes. So it is fun. It's kind of exciting. We've got a lot of questions for him or her. But first, let's hear from our sponsors today. Today's episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one for yourself, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, which is the Massenomics podcast of deadlift slippers, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. We have a discount code there. It's MASS20. Use that at checkout, and it'll save you 20% off on all Lifting Large branded products. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. And this episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. We've got a discount code with them. It's MASS, M-A-S-S, in all caps. That'll save you 5% off any training or nutrition memberships for the life of that membership at hybridperformancemethod.com.
Well, Tanner, we have a lot.
We do have a lot. We've got about 30 minutes before our guest or so, and we got a lot of things to run down before we get there, don't we?
It is a comprehensive rundown.
Yeah.
First things first, maybe we should refresh ourselves before we work up too much of a mental sweat here.
I was feeling a little bit parched out, actually, now that you mentioned that. Am I supposed to look at it?
Oh, that was a reach. Do not look, Tanner.
Okay.
We are playing a game here. This is what's in that
grab
can.
it. I wasn't looking.
And boy, I am thirsty tonight.
Oh, I can smell. Oh, I can smell a color.
That is refreshing. What is he going to guess? What does he think it is?
I thought when, as soon as I opened it, I thought it smelled like grape. And to be completely honest, I feel like out of the corner of my eye, I can see purple on the can, even though I try not to look. And I don't know if that's just because I smelled that, so I feel like I can see purple. So I'm going to say it's oh, wait a second. One other thing. I'm going to say it's a grape buble.
You're almost right.
Okay.
It is a blackberry buble.
Okay. And I did for a split second think blackberry too, and then I just when I
like
opened the can, it smelled like grape soda to me.
I agree.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Buble has their flavor profile in line.
They do.
It's like their flavor profile, like they turn the dial up to 4.
They do.
Whereas LaCroix turns the dial up to almost 1. They're like, we don't want to get to a full number, so we'll keep it just below 1.
I've never had any LaCroix that's stronger flavor than any Buble. The strongest of flavor LaCroix is not as strong as the weakest flavor of Buble to me.
Yes, you are correct. You are absolutely correct. I mean, we love them all equally.
That's
you know,
true.
it's like picking between your favorite kids.
I mean, someday when one of these damn companies finally offers us a sponsorship, we'll really only love one of them,
We
and
will.
we'll strictly just do. They will be in the can
we will
every
pledge
week.
our allegiance
Yeah.
in a hurry. And
Like we
all
can be
about
bought as far as sparkling water goes.
easily.
Yes.
Yep. And there's a lot of companies out there, so
Yeah.
there's got to be some up and coming startup that really needs our clout behind them.
Someone that listens to this has to know someone that works for one of those companies or something.
Or yes, someone that is involved in a carbonated water company.
Yes. If you're a listener and you know anyone that's involved in any sparkling carbonated essenced water company, get in touch with us.
Have their people talk to our people.
Yeah. We need them on the show.
Okay, Tanner. We have so many things here.
I did have one thing.
Okay.
That I just wanted to comment. This don't need to talk about it long, but something really interesting I noticed this last weekend. I was at my son does BMX, and he was at a BMX nationals. And in my mind, I kept comparing this to powerlifting. You know, we talk a lot about powerlifting and the sport of powerlifting.
Yep, both kind of.
You'd consider,
sports
yeah,
to
that's
an
what I was going to
extent.
ask. Wouldn't you consider? You would consider BMX a fringe sport, like powerlifting's a fringe sport?
Completely on the fact that it is so dependent on where you're located.
Right. So to me, like in my head, I'm like, these sports are on also like kind of similar levels to me. Like they're a little fringy, and you know, not everybody's into them. Like a lot of people probably haven't really seen either of them before.
But you can also do them more than being in high school.
Right. Yes. So there's a lot of comparisons, but after having been to this national event, which Aberdeen, South Dakota hosted a nationals the first time ever, and one other clarification, if you think of nationals for powerlifting, that's a once a year thing. Like you're like qualifying for nationals to lift
nationals
at nationals.
is the national meet.
Right. In BMX, that's not how it works.
Oh.
There's different classes of race. There's local races, there's state races, and there's national races. So there's multiple national races throughout the year.
Okay. So it's like a national invitational
Right,
type meet,
right.
kind of.
And they're worth more points. So there's way more
Gotcha.
competitors, and it's worth more points. The sport of BMX, as I understand it, which I don't understand it well, is based on this points for the year thing. And by competing at nationals or doing well at nationals, you earn way more points
It's
than you
like
do at a
when you
local
win in
meet.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's whether you're the 100cc or the 50cc.
When you're doing the Rainbow Cup.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yes, exactly, kind of. But so this was a national level thing in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Our population of about 25,000 people are fairly familiar with Aberdeen who have listened to our podcast. Not a big city.
Yeah. Yep.
This nationals thing goes on in like, I don't know if it's in 50 states or a lot of not 50 states, but I don't know if there's 20 of them a year. There was way more people competing and spectating at this one of 30
many,
nationals in Aberdeen, South Dakota than any powerlifting meet.
Really? Like
Well, there was 1,000 riders.
there
Or
was?
no. There's like 900 riders.
Damn.
And that's one of many, just a national class event.
Yep.
Granted, there's differences like young kids could do powerlifting too, but like it's younger kids generally do BMX than, you know, there's more people at a younger age range. But just the fact, I mean, there was vendors, like all kinds of vendors set up. There was probably 3,000 people there. And I'm like, it was an event. It was like kind of a spectacle of sorts. And there was people from California, Florida, like all, you
as
know,
far away as you can get from us geographically.
Right. And I'm like, for a powerlifting event in
like Aberdeen, South Dakota, that would never be.
no,
that way.
you literally couldn't do that, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, and
They would say, well, you're not near a major airport, so yeah, it's not going to happen.
right. And there are some other differences and stuff, but it put it in my perspective. I'm like, wow, powerlifting is much more fringe than this sport is. Like considerably, I would say. You know, it's just
I totally get what you're saying. If I could think like just thinking out loud here, to me, the BMX thing also has in its favor that it is a lot of people probably under the age of 18.
Yes.
So you get the family involved a lot more too.
That's true.
Whereas a lot of times, at least the people I know that are involved in powerlifting are all basically adults.
yes.
And so
There's not rules that you have to be, but that's just the way that
it's just
is.
typically there's adults, and then once you're adults, it's like you do your own thing,
Yeah.
and you don't have a fan base anymore or spectators
Right.
outside of people at the top level of
And
the sport.
there is a reasonable amount of adults in the BMX, but there's a ton of kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really big deal for kids.
Yeah, no, that is still surprising.
Yeah,
though. It
where
just
it's
seems
like-
like just one of these big size meets, and it's like,
And it's bigger than any powerlifting
yeah,
meet.
it's a actual spectacle.
And there's just inherent differences in the sports and all that sort of stuff. But it just like put it like really, I'm like, man, there was a lot of fringe sports that are probably a lot more popular than powerlifting is. Like powerlifting really is on.
Well, even
with the rise of
even on
powerlifting.
that subject, something that shocked me, you just made me think of this. I had to go up to Fargo like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And while I'm in Fargo, I'm driving. We're on this kind of weird side road, and I see there's this massive building, and on the building, I'm assuming it was just for this purpose because there's a huge sign on it. It is the Fargo Moorhead Curling Club, and I'm like, curling,
Yeah.
and they have a building that is bigger than any gym in our area,
Right.
dedicated just to curling.
And there is a curling club in.
And
There's
there
a
is
league
here-
in Aberdeen.
there is here. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's 30 people that participate.
I
or-
do personally know some
I
people.
do
that
know
do
they
it,
don't
but,
have their
yeah.
own building with their
Right.
sign
No,
on it.
they share
so-
the hockey rink
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
just
And I assume that's a little bit of a northern sport, I suppose, just that people that even
Probably.
have hockey,
Probably, yeah.
ice rinks and stuff. But
I don't know.
But yeah, that's like curling is probably bigger, right? I mean, it's an Olympic sport.
It's an Olympics. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do got that going, and anyone can go. Anyone can compete powerlifting, but you don't have to be physically fit by any
Right.
means to participate. So
Right.
it probably is a bigger sport.
Yeah. And also the thing, like, I'm very novice in what I not like I compete in BMX, but even what I understand about the sport and the rules and like these point standing and stuff. And I kind of really understand powerlifting, but like there's so many people there that are, have this expert level of
that are
knowledge.
deep into
Yeah.
that
Where I'm
world.
like, it's just funny how like for as deep as maybe we are into this stuff, how many people out there that are just as deep, if not deeper into these other sports that I consider like up until a couple of years ago, I'm like, I guess that's a thing.
do
Is
people do that?
Yeah. So that's kind of
You mean the world exists outside
Right.
of my tiny little viewpoint?
right. But so that really, it does put shines more light on when people don't get this at all. Like where they're like, is that bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Like that's,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Like, I got to cut them a little more slack because
Yes. Oh, that's the one we saw on. That's the one they lift weights on in the Olympics, right?
Right. Yes. But you can it's easier to understand why why there's that confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So that does bring something else that I had to talk about is kind of along these lines too, is HBO had a documentary called The Weight of Gold.
Yes.
And it's basically, I saw it pop on there recently. I'd seen maybe a few things about it online. It was only like an hour long. It's like, okay, yep, I can dump my time into that.
Yep.
And it's Michael Phelps. He's the narrator, but they put the spotlight on several different Olympic competitors, mostly Americans. And it is, you watch this, and the thing behind it is the mental health, like the mental toll being a top level athlete,
Right.
specifically an Olympian, takes on these people. And so much of it, you just start to, we're getting older, Tanner. I'm 31 years
We're
old
no
now.
spring chickens.
I'm starting to notice these patterns in human behavior, and it's the same. The things they're talking about are the same things that like power lifters.
Yeah.
It's almost like their biggest complaints. It's the same things that you hear like the West Side guys talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, I fucking hated the sport.
Yeah.
It was terrible. There was days I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I hated my coach. I didn't like anything about it, but I kept doing it and I didn't know why. And it's like they're saying the same. It's like you just
Right.
see once it's like a human thing that once you decide to go so hard in on something, focus so hard and throw everything to the side, you basically got to accept that unless you're one of those rare lucky people, everything else is going to go way downhill for you.
Yeah.
And they talk about the same stuff of, I was a top level. I won 2 silver medals and I still had to survive off a stipend of $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the stuff people talk about in powerlifting. There's no money in it. Like
Yeah.
the one they have, I feel like she's one of the more popular athletes is Lolo Jones. Do you remember her? at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah. She's a sprinter, right? Or what was she?
Hurdler. She was a
Hurdler,
hurdler.
okay,
And then
yeah.
I think she did 2 Olympics for sure as a hurdler. And then she did a Winter Olympics as a bobsledder, which
Okay.
I'm sure you're a world-class athlete. You can
Right.
probably make that transition
Well,
pretty easy.
The original Jamaican bobsled team, those guys were all sprinters. If you remember from Cool Runnings,
I do remember from
Cool
Runnings.
They all were running on the clay track, and they tripped or something.
Yeah,
and
it makes sense. You got that power, you
Yeah,
can do it.
yeah.
And she was saying, she went so far as to say that she had to, while she was an Olympian, at times she was a waitress, and at one point she even worked in a fitness club, like making shakes for people. And she said, one day while I was making a shake, my race was on TV, and someone's like, isn't that you? And she's like, yeah, it's, and she was still training to be an Olympian.
Right.
And her whole point is that there's like no money in it. There's no help for any of this.
Right.
And you just think, and it's just like, you can almost, really what it is, you can almost substitute any sport that's not one of the three major sports.
Yeah.
And people will say that.
Right.
And I guess that's what it comes down to, is like, why you're not going to get money when people can't even watch you to support you 99% of the year.
That's true.
And so then it brings up the thing is like, well, should they be financially supported, or is it just like, well, that's just how sports go?
Yeah, I think there's that's how many sports there are where
there are so many.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, it's based on what money they're bringing in is how you should. It's not. Are you the best in the world? You deserve X amount of dollars.
It's how much can you? It really is
right.
how much can you entertain people?
Right.
That
yeah.
really is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you can't entertain people when your sport's on TV 1 week of every 4 years,
right,
or a couple weeks in an entire year if there's something special going on.
Yes.
And I think maybe
or how much money can you make someone that makes something related to that sport? How much money can you make that sponsor?
That's the bigger. And I think I feel like now with social media, people are starting to get that point more.
Yeah.
It's like you get paid based on how valuable not how good you are, but
right,
how valuable you are to someone else.
Right.
And to be fair with this whole thing, the money part was just one part. The overarching theme of this whole thing was the mental health aspect. And talking about how once you go so hard on this, for 4 years, that your whole life comes down to, in some people's case, your entire life comes down to a 10-second event.
Right.
And how just like shattering that is when it doesn't work in your favor. And I get it. Like it does remind me, I think a lot on the early episodes of the Juggernaut podcast, Max Aida would talk a lot about Olympic lifting and how these people, it's with a lot of them, it's not just who's the strongest. It's you have to be the person that's the best at doing the same thing every day and never get tired of it.
Right.
And then also be lucky enough to not get hurt. That's really what it takes to get to that level. And it's so hard to do, like the monotony of Olympic lifting over and over and over and over every day for years and years and years and years on end, and still want to do it every day. And that they do touch on that. It's just it's like you get done with your Olympics and it's like, do I say, let's do this? And now I'm 4 more years of my life, I'm right back to this. Cause that is a commitment right there.
4 years. Yeah. It's 4-year cycles.
So anyone that's interested in athletes performing at a top level, it's an interesting documentary. It does get a little.
Do you recommend it then? I can't speak to it because I did turn it on. Michael Phelps had me asleep within 5 minutes, and I went to bed.
I will say there was a little stretch where I was having a really hard time staying awake. I didn't fall asleep, but it was entertaining. If anything, it was just like, okay, it is now becoming more and more clear that just high level athletes all suffer from this problem of not making enough money, being mentally burned out, wondering is it really worth it that I'm doing this whole thing? And
right.
It's interesting from that standpoint.
I've only strictly been watching Star Wars as of late. So I
like the movies, or
I watched all 11 movies.
Yeah.
And I watched them.
Have you moved on to like The Mandalorian? And
I'm on The Mandalorian right now. My thing was I wanted to watch The Mandalorian, but I wasn't going to watch it until I watched every movie in sequence. Okay, and actually, so here's what that's a good. That's kind of the question. That is
always the $1 million question.
Yeah. So I watched New Hope, Empire Strikes Back.
So like in
Return
release
of the Jedi.
order, you did
basically release. Well, with exception, I did 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then I watched the Han Solo origin story.
Yep.
So that's not necessarily in release order. And then I watched Rogue One.
Yep.
And then I watched 7, 8, 9.
I am way out of the loop on the newer ones.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like I wasn't going to, for whatever, I didn't go to movies at the time. And I think I went to Rogue One. I think I went to the one after that. But even that, I'm getting so out of the loop on I'm just so behind on Star Wars.
And Rogue One, you know, you could watch that at any point in time, and the whole. I mean, maybe you wouldn't watch it before 4, 5,
Actually,
and 6.
I watched Rogue One, and I watched the one with the tall guy. God, what is his name?
Adam Driver.
Yes, Adam Driver.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And people dog on 1, 2, 3. You know, the ones that came out when we were little kids. After watching them, I'm like, I don't know. I still like those too. I'm like, I like all of them. I like the like I invested in the whole story, so I'm like, well, I don't care if they're not. It's good because it's like I want to hear about the story. There's parts of it that I'm like, well, these kind of suck, but
I always remember, like, as a kid, as a little kid. So I was probably 5th grade when episode 1 came out. And I was, up until that time, as a little kid, I was a huge fan of the original Star Wars series. Definitely didn't completely get everything.
Right.
You know, when you're a little kid, you just don't.
Yeah.
But I remember being so jacked for episode 1 and Darth Maul. It's like, that's the coolest thing ever. And when they re-released them probably 10 years ago, I remember going to the theater in town here, and I hadn't seen it episode 1 in many, many years.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I was like, damn, I remember Darth Maul being a way bigger part of that story. He's
as soon as you brought up Darth Maul, I'm like, that Darth Maul, I don't know if we need to talk about Star Wars too much, but Darth Maul is probably the weirdest part of the whole thing where I'm like, do you just like added that guy into the story because he looks crazy?
Have 10 minutes of actual screen time?
Like, I don't even know how or why Darth Maul fits into the whole thing. Like, I swear to God, they're like,
there's definitely people listening.
We finished this movie, but if we added this guy that has like horns and a red face, that would be pretty cool.
Lightsaber.
Yeah, that would spice this up a little bit.
There's definitely people listening. They're like, okay, we can tell you exactly why he's there.
Right. But as like my
takeaway as a little kid was Darth Maul and pod racing. And when I went back, it was like Darth Maul is like almost not even in this movie. I actually thought were scenes removed because I remember being way more. And also pod racing, I remember being like, to me, it felt like the whole first movie was pod racing as a little kid.
Right.
And that wasn't maybe it's because I had the pod racing video game on N64 and I thought like that was the whole thing, but that wasn't as big of a part of it either.
I mean, that is a good scene.
It is a good
where
scene.
Anakin
but
does
to me, as a little kid, that was the whole movie. And then episode 2, I just remember episode 2, there is a scene where he's going on about how he doesn't like sand because it's coarse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the cheesiest, dumbest section of like any Star Wars movies in my mind. That sucked so bad. And then episode 3 seemed like, all right, it tied it up. But I haven't seen that one in so long.
Episode 3, I do like, maybe is my favorite out of them just because
it felt like it gave you some closure.
Well,
it's
like the whole thing, you're kind of waiting to because it's like, it's kind of the Darth Vader origin. And you're like, okay, like, and then at the end you finally see like, here now he's Darth Vader, and you're like, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my problem with Star Wars is you had to wait so long for it. There was definitely people that have been waiting since the 70s, but then I had to take this long wait, and then I haven't got back into these ones. I do need to take the time someday to do it.
Adam Driver's Kylo Ren or Ben Solo or Kylo Ren, whatever, he's good though. I like him in those movies. I don't know if you've seen any of them or not.
I've seen the one with him in.
Yeah. And he's in. He's good though. I just like him as a character in those. Those new ones are all pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Once I get that free Disney Plus membership,
well, that's why I got. I
still
someone else had it, and I wound up with a password. So that's
supposed
why
to have that free one through Verizon.
Did you ever resolve that?
I was too annoyed with people, so I haven't called. So
that's probably enough about Star Wars, though, because people that don't like it are probably like, "Shut up!"
And the people that do like it are like, "God, these guys clearly."
The people that hate it are annoyed that we're talking about it. The people that love it know way more, and they're
so we just did everyone a disservice. But one thing we do have to talk about right now, that I'm really excited about, Tanner, is last week we announced our Massenomics stimulus package contest.
Yes.
And I am happy to report this week we have delivered through on part 1 of our promise. So watchers of the podcast can see me right now holding a very, very medium-sized check. It's just $500, so it doesn't garner a huge check. But also it's a prize, so a regular check would do. So this is a very medium-sized check.
If you're just listening right now, it's worth hopping on YouTube and fast forwarding to this minute mark.
We'll also put this on Instagram so you guys can see this very medium-sized check. Paid to the order line is who we're going to pay it to. It is open. It's waiting for someone's name.
And then you and I have to sign it.
The 4 line is Massenomics stimulus package, and it's just waiting to be signed by us. August 26th, we should have the winner announced. Tanner, that's the day I picked. We're going to announce the winner.
I guess we have to now. It's in a check.
What do you call it when you mark the date? Did you post?
Well, Yeah, that's what I guess that's post dating it. Yeah.
Post-dating,
Or
there we
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Pre or post? I don't know.
Post seems like
Yeah.
a better answer.
Okay.
But this is the one and only Massenomics medium-sized check in the entire world. So that alone should be worth it. And then there is a $500 value assigned to this thing too. So
I don't know if people are going to want to actually cash it though, or are they going to want to keep the medium-sized check? Because were you clear? Like, we are mailing this to the winner too.
yes,
like,
the
like
winner
they're
is
getting this check.
Yeah, you are getting this check.
And it's not. You're not actually going to get. It's not. You're not going to be able to cash it. So we really aren't giving away $500. We're just giving away this pretend check
that we deem is worth $500. No,
but we will give you a real.
There will be $500.
A small check that goes with the medium-sized one.
Damn, this thing it's a thing of beauty, isn't it, Tanner?
When you picked it up there again, like you saw it today for the first time, and when you picked it up there again, it like just made me laugh, like the size of it, because a giant check, they're common now. You just
everyone gets giant.
It doesn't
checks,
look
right?
weird, but the size of this just looks incredibly odd. I don't think there's ever been a check made of this size.
Yeah, yeah, it is funny.
Yeah.
So, anyways, as of the day this is coming out, you still have 1 full week to get your entry in for the Massenomics stimulus package. The rules are one, find it on Instagram. You'll actually see the rules there. We have many posts on the stimulus package, but the big one is you need to post a video of how you get stimulated for a big lift. Because we're all about the stimulation here.
Yeah, make it very stimulating, and then tag at Massenomics. Use the hashtag Massenomics Stimulus, and that's really it. So the rules are fairly open ended. You can have some. You can get creative with it.
We did see, as of this, we just launched the contest a few days ago. You have received some submissions
there's
already,
been
but
just
we
a
have
couple
we
so
have
far.
noted several people saying the Jefferson deadlift really took off at the end, so you got to wait. You
But don't
wanna
wait too long.
Yeah, you don't want to wait too long, though.
Right.
And you have to necessarily limit yourself to one entry.
No, someone did ask that if they can do multiple. I said yes, you can do multiple. And then someone asked if it can be a video in the story or it needs to be a post. And I said it needs to be a post because that's how we can search it and see it.
Yeah.
In the story will not count.
Yeah, I mean you can put it in the story too.
Yeah,
if you want,
yeah.
But get that thing on your timeline.
If you want to get that medium-sized check, you better put it on your timeline. And
These
it's gonna have to be
things don't grow on trees.
No, it's gonna have to be good because I know that there's gonna be some good ones coming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we gave them 2 weeks. We know how intelligent our listeners are, and they need a week to really scheme and plan all of their theatrics.
Right.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Do you want to see what's in my sack today?
I do really want to see what's in your sack. You've kind of hyped up your sack this week, Tanner.
Yes. We have a great Tanner sack segment.
And Tanner's sack doesn't come around any
No,
day,
it does. It used to be like a weekly thing, but
it was the gift that kept on giving, but not anymore.
No, this sack segment is comes from our friends at Grip Genie.
Ooh.
That would be Juji and Tom and Travis.
Okay.
And this, I'm just holding.
They have a Tom and Travis. We have a Tom and Tanner.
Take that. But they also have a Juji.
We
don't have a Juji.
Got to find one of those.
This and just says thank you from the Grip Genie team, and then the note says Massenomics. Thank you for. I got to remember how to read here. Thank you all for keeping things. What does that say?
Oh, I'm so bad at reading.
Oh, thank you all for keeping things fun. Hope this package leads to more fun. Grip and Rip. So, their company is based a lot around grip training. So that's just the note, but now you got to see some of the things they got us. I'll start with the most boring first. This is just some I like some of their packaging and marketing. They call this Grip Strength Enhancer. It's a bag of chalk.
Very nice. Yep. So we got the bag of chalk here.
Then there was a
step 1 in place in gym bag. Yeah. Step 2, apply rigorously to hands. Step 3, enjoy dry hand cheat codes. Nice.
And then they also, Juji owns this company of smelling salts, and the most popular one or the strongest one is this So this one's this is the harshest one, and I have heard from a few people that this one is pretty intense.
It is harsh.
I'm not going to open. I don't want to open it and try it here
right now.
Then they also have awesome salts, and to go with their they have But that's kind of the Mac Daddy from the way I understand it from people.
I like the use immediately before intense exertion.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have some people in the gym that will enjoy using this?
Oh, we have people in the gym that live off of that would have withdrawals without it. And then this.
Okay, so we got awesome salts and yeah.
this wrist roller.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so we kind of have a makeshift of one
We
of these at the
do.
gym made out of PVC pipe. But wait till you hold this to see how
Is it
heavy duty.
knurled?
So this is, I believe this is stainless steel. It's knurled.
Oh, damn.
And it's very heavy duty.
Nice.
And they did have a note to go along with that too. Let me see.
So the way to explain this, if people don't know what we're talking about, it's just like a 1-foot-long tube of steel that's been knurled. And the whole point is there's a rope that wraps around the center and you turn it through your hands to build up that forearm strength, right?
Yes.
And there's on the rope, the paracord here, there's a hook where you can attach weights and things like that, I'm assuming, Tanner?
Yep. Yeah, you just loop like a 25-pound plate or a couple tens or whatever
this
you
thing
want
is
to do.
heavy. It almost kind of looks like a boomstick, you know?
Yeah, it does. At first when I opened it, I was like, what? But that's like made to the max. Like that is built out as heavy duty.
It kind of looks like a hollowed out barbell sleeve is actually what it looks like.
Right. And
Cool.
knurled.
That's
Yep.
really cool.
That is cool. And then the last thing here, I'll read the note on it. This is the mythical Grip Genie Level 6. More people have received free lift shorts than have closed this gripper. Good luck, team. And
Wow.
this thing is ridiculous. Like we have captains of I don't even know if I should say their name, but we have the different make of these at the gym. And this is far stronger than any of them that we have at the gym. Yes.
Wow.
And like we have up to the number 2 of that other kind at the
And
gym,
that is-
which I've seen maybe one or a few people close. But this one, I can barely move.
So has anyone ever closed this though?
I think a few people have. Juji
Really?
himself has a very strong grip and has never closed that. He's closed their 5, I believe,
What?
but never
Really?
this. Yeah. Did you give that a squeeze?
I did, and I cracked 3 of my fingers. So I'm
And
like, I'll switch to the other
my
hand.
hand is now broke,
Yeah.
and the thing did not close at all.
I am absolutely terrible at grip things. Like Tyler was really good, because Tyler had hands that were
Twice the size of
foot
ours.
long,
Yeah,
and
right.
Yeah, each finger was. I'm just so I don't do anything. My
Like,
hands.
does it feel like you can even move that? Like it could be closed by a person.
It just barely slightly moves. It looks really cool. It's gold.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love gold.
Exactly.
I think they're all color coded for the different ones.
That
but-
it looks really cool with the gold and black. At the very least, it's an awesome thing to have in the gym.
this will hang on the gym. Many people will try it.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody will close it.
Many people like. I wonder how many pounds of force does it take to close that thing?
I think
Like, they're-
350.
So you have to be able to squeeze 300.
Yeah.
Like squeeze 350 pounds.
I can like get it to go like you can tell how easy it is at the beginning and how hard it gets at the end.
and it only
like
gets
the
harder
easy,
as it
yeah,
goes,
that's what I
too.
mean. Like I can just do the easy half, and then it gets to a point where it's like, well, that nobody like that'd be like try and
It
try and
blows my mind
move
that
these
anyone can do that.
immovable objects together. You know, but yeah, I think a few people have closed this.
And that is for people that aren't familiar with these grip training things, whether it's Captains of Crush or Grip Genie or what are the other companies that do those things. It's not just like, if you can hold 700 pounds in a deadlift, that doesn't mean that you can. That doesn't even mean that it translates at all. To
No,
these things.
there actually are different forms of grip. There's
It is
crushing grip
yes,
and there's pinching grip.
It is an actual
and,
skill to be able to do this.
For
stuff.
sure. Then people train to be good at this. Most people that can close this train to be able to close this. I have pretty good grip for like holding onto a deadlift.
You can do double overhand.
I can do
reps
double
for-
overhand with I've done 545 before for a single, or I can do do 400 pounds and do it for a set of 10. And I have good grip for that. I do not have good grip for this stuff.
I don't have any of that stuff at all, and I never have.
You train it, but I also think some people, from what I've seen, kind of have it or they don't to a certain degree.
From what I can tell, you're just at a huge advantage having big hands.
Yeah,
with these
I
two.
think so for sure. But these are really cool. I'm glad they sent us this. Travis was kind of the one. He works for Grip Genie, and he's a big Massenomics follower. And he's in some of the YouTube videos. Sometimes a lot of times, if you watch Juji, Mufu, and Tom videos, he's the guy in the back that's wearing a Massenomics shirt. So, or the guy that's in
like
there that's
every
got a
YouTube
Massenomics
channel
shirt.
has a guy in the back with a Massenomics shirt on, right?
And what I haven't asked what we haven't asked Travis about, but we'll ask him on the podcast right here, right now. So as you're listening to this, Travis, you need to convince Juji to be a call-in guest for the Massenomics podcast here soon.
I think that's a great idea.
That's your job. Report back once you've completed that.
Anything besides a yes is failure.
Yes, yes. If you do that, we will send you a free shirt.
So you can
Yeah.
keep being the guy in the background.
This was a really cool
This is
stuff that they sent
awesome.
us here, though. Like,
Yeah.
this is a really good sack segment. And I just like things for the gym.
Oh,
like, I
just
like
the-
cool, almost
like things that have
novelty-esque things.
that have the story behind
where
it.
it's like, and you're like, I love that we'll have this hang on the wall because I can be like, try and close that.
Yep.
And everyone's like,
And
people close
people
this?
that randomly come into the gym that drop in when that can ever happen again,
Right.
They see all the grip trainers on the wall and they'll
And
see
they're
a
like,
gold
"What's
one.
this gold
And everyone's
one?"
gonna be like, oh, gold, and go touch it and be
And
like,
like,
well, this
who
isn't actually
does
a thing.
this?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
isn't actually a thing.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
yeah.
This episode of the Massenomics podcast is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle, instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS, that's MASS in all caps, for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, Massenomics, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays, so you can get advice from a real powerlifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is home to the ground lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20, that's MASS20, to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded items. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. And last, but definitely not least, the Massenomics podcast is brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Spud Inc. Swing Set Straps. The Spud Inc. Swing Set, that's a tongue
twist. Spud Inc. knows how to twist our
the
tongues.
Spud Inc. Swing Set Straps turn any regular or specialty bar into a yoke that won't take up space in your home gym. Designed to be even more challenging than a traditional yoke, the swinging weights will test your stabilizer muscles like never before. And with a maximum capacity of 800 pounds, you won't ever need a traditional yoke to get your strongman training in. Easily carried in a gym bag, the Swing Set Straps can also be used for a variety of exercises and variation, acting as weight releasers on the squat, adding an extra challenge to overhead press, or serving as chain holders for your bench press. No matter how you train, you'll find something new with the Swing Set Straps. And just a little warning, Tanner, the first use of the Swing Set Straps may induce a walk similar to a late Saturday stumble, so watch yourself.
Been there before.
Thank you
I mean.
to our sponsors. I do know what you mean.
All right, should we call up our soon-to-be new friend, Mr. Immortal Barbell?
Mr. or Mrs.
Mr. or Mrs.?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
It's kind of like we're going on a blind date, Tanner, because
That's
we know
true.
nothing.
Hello, is this Mr. Immortal Barbell?
Yes, it is.
All
Yep, my dude.
All right. You're live on the Massenomics podcast with this is Tanner speaking, and then Tommy's here too.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. So this is I don't know if you noticed this, but we didn't ask a single question about you. So our first thing is we didn't even know if we were going to be talking to a man or a woman. So we got that one out of the way. The second question right off the bat is we don't even know your name. What is your name?
Yeah. Or do you not want to release your name?
You don't have to release it either.
Do you like
this is
keep it
totally
anonymous?
up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a secret.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Immortal Barbell. We'll keep that going. I like it.
I think that makes it even more interesting, maybe, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, my first name is Immortal, middle name Barbell, last name Guy.
It's the perfect. It works so good that Instagram handle was available for you.
Yeah. My parents had plans for me.
They knew.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a lot. It is interesting, honestly. You know, most of the times when we have guests, we know a little bit more about them personally. In your case, we really don't at all, and I think that does make it really interesting, and it makes so we kind of do have a lot of questions.
I guess typically with guests, we don't ask anything about their origin story because who needs to know Steffi Cohn or Donnie Thompson?
Everyone already knows it.
Everyone knows their story, and that question gets asked a million times, but I don't think we know much about your origin story. What can you tell us about the origins of Immortal Barbell?
Well, I guess the comic it didn't really start with me. My brother, he actually has his own comic called Immortal Choke. That's a comic that revolves around Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Like these guys like choke each other out. So yeah, he actually created the whole Immortal name, and he started that about a year before me, and she was having a lot of success with it. So he kind of encouraged me to start my own comic because growing up we kind of had the same humor. We did the same thing, like we doodled a bunch of stuff about like dumb, goofy stuff, and so he showed me his comics, like saying like, "Hey man, I'm having a lot of success with this. Like you should do something too. Like I bet you do great." So yeah, like I gave it a shot and started my own comic on Instagram. And I actually didn't start making comics about fitness. I actually started with like office humor.
Right.
Yeah, we were just looking at that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So originally I was actually called Immortal Meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's because like I work in an office and like try to make some dumb comics about that.
about the life crushing pressure of being in an office every day.
Yeah. But I mean, like there's so many comics about like office humor. Like it's already very well saturated. So it didn't feel like I was really contributing to that.
Yeah.
And I went to the next step, which is like humor about fitness, and like I just changed everything to Immortal Barbell and kind of took off from there.
So do you, making that pivot, I mean, you must go to the gym. I mean, you get the humor.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Like,
do you lift?
Are you a person that lifts?
No, I don't even go to the gym. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Just as we thought.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I actually started powerlifting about, I want to say about like 10 years ago. That's when I started powerlifting, like competing. And before that, I was kind of like doing random bodybuilding stuff and going to commercial gyms. Like I didn't really have any goals. So.
And then the goal came up for a comic, and the rest was history.
Yeah. Yep.
So you do compete or have competed in powerlifting though?
Yeah. That's like my main gig.
Gotcha. Okay. What you're talking about your brother with Immortal Choke then. So what I'm wondering, whose is more popular now then, yours or his?
mine. Yeah.
You really showed him.
But
on that
I think that yeah, rub it in his face. No, but I think it's because like like fitness has blown up like so much since I don't know like the past 10 years. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like we kind of have a smaller community, so it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So are you trained in any way as an artist, or has this always just been like a hobby of yours?
It's always been a hobby. It's like, well, my whole life, like when I get bored in school or whatever, like just start doodling in my notebook. So yeah, with no formal training, just like drawing goofy stuff in my notebooks.
Yeah, and I noticed, we went back right before here, we went back in your timeline to like your first post, and you have there has been some progression and evolution of the comics. Like your original ones,
Right.
it was actually photos of your drawings and notebooks, correct?
Right. So when I started, I actually drew on a dry erase board and Post-it notes, which that's kind of a pain, It's like there have been several times where like I draw a comic, getting ready to take a picture, and then like I drop my phone on the dry erase board and like smudge everything. It's like god damn it. That took me like half an hour.
And so then like adding in, because it looks like, did you go like, was there like markers involved or watercolor or something at one point?
Yeah, I've gone through a bunch of different formats. So I went from dry erase board to colored pencils to markers and finally to digital.
You're right.
And was the move for digital just like speed and ease of production, or was there anything else behind that?
Yeah, mainly like speed and production and like my workflow.
Yeah.
Because they're like when I was still doing everything by hand, like I've messed up so many comics. Just like for example, if I'm working with markers, like sometimes the ink will leak out and like ruin the whole comic. So, I was getting tired of that.
Yeah. Don't blame you there.
Yep.
So you have gotten very popular. I believe on Instagram you're coming in on close to 100,000 followers, I think, right?
Right. Yep.
Yes, I mean that's kind of a big deal. Like that puts you in a pretty high percentile of people with followers on Instagram. What I'm wondering, have you noticed or come across any accounts or any cartoons that you would consider almost knockoffs of yours at this point, or have you not ever seen anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. That's actually my hope, though. Like when my account started to blow up, like because there's not a whole lot of like original content for humor in fitness.
Oh, there's so little of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all memes that are being like reused like here and there.
Yep. Right.
So, so I'm hoping my account like kind of motivates other people to try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we like to think of ourselves as producing original content to an extent. I mean, it's not producing original imagery to the extent that you do. So yeah, it is very much appreciated. And we do enjoy a good Immortal Barbell comic here.
Yeah, for sure.
That I would say too. Well, two things. First one, I'm wondering, your characters, not just guys or girls or whatever, your characters in your cartoons, they have a very certain look to them. I could spot that. If I see one of those, I know it's Immortal Barbell right away. I would say, that's a Immortal Barbell cartoon. Where did that come from? Like, where did that look come from? Had you always just doodled characters that kind of looked like that, and then you popped them in, when you had this idea for lifting cartoons, you popped them in there, or did you develop them at that point in time?
I guess like, so I guess like that style comes from like, I guess it's just like my style of drawing.
Sure.
I'm not like super like professional or anything. It's like I'll drew like little small like cute things. And I also got like some influence from, you guys know the Cyanide and Happiness comics?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, it's like kind of in that realm where it's like it's simple enough to where it's like I'm not like stressing over like tiny details, but like it also works for like my humor in the comic itself. So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We have done the collaboration before where we did we do the Massenomics versus thing, and we did one with you a while back where you drew the images for the verses and we put the verses together. Do you remember what it was?
Scott Hall and Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
That was an awesome one.
Yeah. It is a good one. We're going to have to, we'll share that, of course, when this episode comes out. And actually, we can say this now because we'll be able to share this when this episode comes out. But you actually made a cartoon for this episode specifically, which is really cool. It's a great cartoon, and we got a great kick out of that.
Tanner sent it to me. I'm like, well, he pretty much hit all the highlights there. Yeah. He gets it.
Nice. Yep.
Do you have a favorite cartoon of yours though? Like, I mean, you've done a lot of different ones. Is there any that stick out in particular of the ones that you've done that you've just really loved?
I think my absolute favorite one was, how do I describe it? It's about like how at every single powerlifting meet, there's always that old, stocky, like bald guy with the goatee.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like a huge team of like Louis Simmons.
Yeah.
Like gathering, like they kind of figure out like, all right, which meet are you going to go to? I'm going to go to this one. So you go to that one.
Yeah.
It's like the meat troll that just has to be there.
Yep.
He is always there though, too. Honestly, that's why it's funny because that is so true.
And it's like, a lot of times it's like, I don't know if that guy actually even lifts or if he's just here. And then he always has like these weird sayings.
Like, who does he know here?
Like, go to war with the bar. Like he always has some saying. And it's like, did he make that up? Did he pick that up from someone else?
Yeah.
But that guy is so relatable.
It comes in the handbook. It's like, all right, shaved head, check. Gray goatee, check. Go to war on the bar. Yep, go to war.
It's like the uniform. Like they have to have the uniform to be allowed in the meet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one. I
it's
do
like
remember that.
Organization.
Yeah.
Oh no. So okay. So then with all these comics, have you ever had one that like you thought was really, really funny and you were super excited for, and then you put it out there and it's like you didn't get a reaction out of people on it?
God, there's so many.
Yeah.
We have the same
we
thing too. Like,
experienced that.
It's like, oh, this is so funny. We killed it on some meme or whatever, and then you put it out. It's like, oh yeah, people don't care about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like usually the comics I don't really care about, like those are the most popular. Then like the ones I pour my heart and soul out into. It's like I'll spend like 2 hours drawing this comic. Like, oh man, like everyone's gonna love this one. This is so relatable. This is so funny. Then it completely tanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you? Go ahead.
There's so many. There's so many. Mainly like when I first started Immortal Barbell, like I was still like feeling out my audience. So.
Yeah. Have people that look at Instagram's accounts and they say, "Oh, you've got 100,000 followers. You must just be getting rich off of that." What I'm wondering, have you found a way? You don't have to get into the details, but do you feel like, and maybe it's not a goal of yours. That's another question. Do you feel like you're able to monetize your presence and your following? Like, have you found a way that you monetize that, or do you care about that?
I don't care too much about it. Like I do sell merchandise. But yeah, it's like, I do get that a lot. I was like, oh wow, you have like over 90,000 followers. Like you must be rich. It's like, nope, I'm so broke. Right now. It's more of a hobby. Like I don't really pay too much mind to like monetizing it. Yeah.
That's refreshing too, though.
Yeah.
So many people, even like, oh, I've hit 10,000. Yep, this is a business now, baby. Like, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things.
Right. What about so you're
another?
Oh, sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, I was like, another thing with like monetizing my stuff is like I want to make sure I'm giving like quality stuff. Like That's something I'm still like figuring out. Like, what do people actually like? I don't want to just like, I don't want to think about the money first. So I actually want to give my followers something that's like quality, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very commendable.
Yeah, for sure. And everything I'm thinking about when we're talking here, I'm thinking about your Instagram page. Do you use any other forms, or does everything you do go out through Instagram? Is that the primary channel?
I also have a Facebook account that's connected to my Instagram account.
Okay.
It's not very active though, so I don't pay too much attention to it. It's mostly Instagram.
Yeah, that's seems to be the we feel you.
We didn't know if maybe you had some major hidden TikTok account that we should be aware of.
Nah.
I also run a wildly successful dance channel on TikTok.
Yeah.
No surprises there, I guess.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I can only handle one social media app at a time though. You know, I'm only one dude, you know.
I don't get the people that are like super active on all of them. Like, I just assume you can't have a life at that point.
I don't think you could.
Right. Yeah.
Tommy, do we want to play our overrated underrated game? Is it time?
I think we do.
Mr. Immortal Barbell, are you ready to play are you familiar with our overrated underrated game at all?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been listening to the podcast.
All right. So you have your druthers. We've got a series of topics handpicked for Mr. Immortal Barbell Guy, and we're going to go through them, and then you decide whether they're overrated or underrated, and you can elaborate as little or as much as you would like.
Tanner, I'm going to call an audible on this first one here. Okay.
Okay. What do you got? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The audible is
okay. we had a last second audible here. Maybe you want to kick off with that one then.
I can.
Okay.
All right. Overrated or underrated, Mr. Immortal Barbell? The movie Office Space.
Office Space. That's a tough one. I would say like now it's underrated. I remember like back when it first came out, it was pretty popular. But I don't know, it's just like when you work in an office, like man, like you feel that pain. Every single character in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember there's the scene with that cover sheet. It's like they keep telling
TPS reports.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever he said, like the managers would not hear it. I was like, yep, get that report. Like,
is that the same thing with the PC load letter too?
So much.
No, that's the copy machine. Yeah. But yeah, the TPS reports then he has a second boss come over and like go through the same spiel about him needing the TPS reports, and he's like, did you get that memo? And he's like, yeah, I've got a copy of the memo right here. I get it. It was just one little mistake. It won't happen again. And they're like, okay, great. I'll send you another copy of the memo. And it's like, it is so true though. That's so relatable.
And I think the movie's getting to the point now where I think it's just old enough now that a lot of people are starting to not be aware of it, you know?
That's probably true. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of the point I was getting at. Cause like when that movie first came out, I was, what year did that movie come out?
It had to have been like late 90s.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say late 90s, early 2000s. Jennifer Aniston was in it, and she must not have been very famous yet, I would assume. So probably the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I watched it when I was like, I forget how old I was, maybe like 12 or something.
Yeah.
And like I didn't really understand any of the references or jokes.
I'm just a kid.
It's an okay movie. Yeah. Yeah, then I watched it about like 15 years later. It's like, oh God, everything in this movie hurts so bad.
Well, once you've actually lived that hell.
Yep.
It is 99.
So yeah, I'd say underrated.
Okay, very good. Next topic: overrated or underrated? Garfield comics.
Oh man. Garfield comics. I'd say underrated. Because do I feel under? Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's the beauty. That's when we've done overrated, underrated well, is when it's a tough one.
Yeah, because I want to say underrated because like when you read them, it's like it's so like tacky and corny, to the point where it's like it's hilarious, you know?
Yep.
Like, do you consider yourself a connoisseur of comics? Like, do you actually seek them out, or is it just something that you make more than consume?
It's just something I make. You know, it's like I don't really do much research on that stuff. Or I don't really study that thing. So, I'm just some dude. I'm just some dude like doodles dumb stuff. I'd say Garfield is underrated. There's the beauty of like seeing like how corny and tacky something is, and it's like the next level of like hilarity, you know?
Yeah. He just wants that damn lasagna.
Yep. Mondays.
Give me a cramp in my side laughing about the Mondays. Tanner is real crampy right now.
All right. Overrated or underrated? Next one here. Sumo deadlift jokes. Overrated or underrated?
Overrated. Yeah.
But,
it's like, are you guys talking about the whole like sumo's cheating stuff?
I think if you like sat down 50 people that lift and said you have to make a meme about lifting, I think 45 of them would gravitate towards we should probably do it about sumo deadlifting, and the other 5 would probably be about a hurt back probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like it's the lowest hanging fruit. Doesn't mean it can't be funny.
No,
but
it still is, and people still seem to like it though too. Is like it no matter what, people like it, but
yeah. And I remember I made one comic a while back. Like, this is one of my old comics. It was a sumo wrestler pulling conventional, and I remember like a bunch of people, like they were sending me like DMs like explaining like what was it, all the mechanics behind like sumo deadlifts and conventional deadlifts. Like, wow, dude, I just made like a dumb comic about like a sumo wrestler like pulling conventional, like, and you're getting like super technical about it.
To me, what you said though, that is a funny sumo deadlift joke. Like there are ones that are not funny, and there are, and a sumo wrestler doing a conventional deadlift to me is a funny sumo deadlift joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that people like see comics and memes and think that is like an invitation for like an actual serious conversation. It's like, man, those people do not get it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So every time I make a comic about like sumo deadlift or something about deadlifts, like the thing I'm waiting for is the people who start commenting about it and like just writing like a huge paragraph about how sumo's not cheating, or conventional is like the only way to deadlift, or like sumo should be banned from powerlifting meets.
And those are the comments you pinned, the 3 comments you choose to pin to the top now that's a thing.
Yep.
Okay. So last topic of overrated or underrated, South Park.
South Park. I was never a huge fan of South Park. But I respect what they do, because I think like the creators of South Park and Immortal Barbell, like we kind of have the same goals. We try to make fun of everyone equally. Yeah, you know,
right?
And I think that's an awesome thing to do.
That's how you get away with it.
Yep.
You do it to everyone.
Yep. Yep. But let's see. As far as overrated or underrated, I'd say overrated.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Would you consider yourself more the Trey Parker or the Matt Stone of your generation?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Haven't you guys watched the movie Basketball lately?
No, but I do like basketball. Good movie.
I watched it a couple years ago and I was shocked that it's actually like, I think a little over 2 hours long, which who would have guessed that that movie needed to be that long? But it is funny.
Yeah. So what we've gathered from you is in 99, you said you're about 12 years old. So what does that put you at? That puts you at,
Let's see, that's about 20 years ago.
That's so you're our age. You're about our age. You're a man. You power lift competitively.
Well, I actually watched that movie like a little bit after it came out. So like in 1999, I was like, I was 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're more just coming right around 30. I was just trying to piece together like a crime sketch of
like
what the Immortal Barbell
we're gonna leave
guy.
and we have a board on our wall and we have all these strings connecting different things like to your comics and like different
like
silhouettes and like at the top is this shady figure and that's Mr. Immortal Barbell.
And it turns out if we pieced everything together, you are actually Dan Green. Are we correct?
Yes.
This case is closed.
Like I like how like I'm trying to figure out my age with you guys.
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes after a certain point for
Carry
sure.
the one. Yeah, okay.
that at a certain point it's like, it doesn't really matter.
No. I just said earlier on this podcast that I was 31 and I actually was thinking hard in my head before I said that if that was the right number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate having you on there. Is there anything you want to get out there? You said you sell merchandise. Is the website Immortal? I mean, they just find you on Instagram, I suppose, and I think most of our listeners probably are aware of. But if not, follow Immortal Barbell on Instagram. Anything else? Any other particulars like that you need to get out there?
Yeah. So pretty soon here, I'm gonna start selling commissions. So if you want to get drawn Immortal Barbell style, keep your eyes peeled. I'll
cool.
put something on my Instagram.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a really good idea.
That's a good idea. I think that you'll have some good success with that, and either do that, pay him to commission, or start a podcast, have a podcast for like 4 or 5 years, invite you on, and then you'll make a cartoon
There's
of them.
two ways to do it.
Either way, or pay you. Either one works.
Yep.
One is the road less
I actually have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. Like, I noticed you guys do the whole like sparkling water thing.
Yes, we love them.
Yeah, so I actually drink a lot of sparkling water. I drink the plain Costco brand, the Kirkland Signature.
Yep.
Where does that rank really on the hierarchy?
Well, see, the thing is right there is we live in such an isolated part of the country that the nearest Costco is like 200 and some miles away.
Yeah.
So neither of us are Costco members. And I have had things from Costco. I've been to a Costco like twice, but I've never had their sparkling
Is
water.
Costco Kirkland?
Yeah.
So is it called Kirkland sparkling water, or what is it called?
Hold on, let me grab one.
Or is it like RC Cola sparkling water?
Fago.
Yeah.
It says Kirkland Signature Italian Sparkling Mineral Water with carbonation added. Low mineral content.
So we don't have an informed opinion, but I would say it will be our mission. Actually, could you mail us some?
Just a case. Like the biggest case that Costco sells, just mail it to us.
Yeah. It's probably like 50 of them in Costco.
Probably like $100 to ship it. Has to be freight.
We don't know, but we will research that, and we'll follow up.
We'll get
for
our
the
feelers
listeners.
out there and have some people wrangle some up for us.
Yeah.
And we'll put it through the 10-point taste test.
But honestly, if it's a natural essence sparkling water, we're probably going to like it.
Haven't met one I don't like.
Awesome. What is the best one that you guys have ranked?
Historically we are a LaCroix podcast, but that's just kind of where our roots started from in the sparkling water game.
Today we're enjoying a blackberry bubbly, and bubbly is if you're new to the game, I'd say bubbly is a good way to get introduced because their flavors are much stronger.
They have very bold flavors in the bubbly for sure, much bolder than LaCroix. What's Waterloo is pretty good.
Waterloo,
though.
you get that at Target. I don't know if it's just Target, but that's where I find it. Waterloo's not too bad. I have had the Pellegrino ones a few times.
Yeah.
They're much more expensive. They actually come with, I got to get one sometime, Tanner.
More expensive. That's got to be better.
And they're only 8-ounce cans. So not only are they more expensive, there's less in them, but they come with a foil on the top of the can. You have to peel the foil.
Premium.
It is premium.
That's premium in the and part of the sparkling water game is being better than the other people that aren't drinking them.
I feel like if you see someone with a Pellegrino or a Perrier, you know that they are the real deal.
Is there any way you could fit sparkling water into an Immortal Barbell cartoon, do you think, someday?
And have it relate to more than 2 people?
I'll have to think about
That'd
that.
be
Even if it does relate to only 2 people, then that's fine too.
those 2 people are gonna love it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, we're glad to have you on. Of course, we'll be on the lookout for all the Immortal Barbell cartoons. And so, what about the one you made? Are you sharing that, or are we going to share it on? Because I mean, we want to share that, of course, at some point in time. But you're the artist, so we don't want to steal your sharing thunder.
I'll probably post it the same time you guys post it.
Okay.
So,
all right, sounds good.
yeah, we'll have to keep in touch with that.
Yeah, this podcast will come out Monday, this upcoming Monday. So maybe we'll want to do it. Maybe we'll want to do it Monday.
You know, cure that case of the Mondays, right?
Yeah, case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
So we'll stay in touch on that, but we'll probably plan on like Monday or something then.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well,
All right.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Immortal Barbell. It was a lot of fun.
Immortal Barbell guy, you the man.
Yeah, man, it was a blast. Thanks for having me.
All right,
thanks.
See ya.
Hey.
Woo, that was fun. No idea what to expect.
Certainly different than our, like we said, is all different for all those. Oh, what I would call it, cool beans. First of all, before we get too far,
Super cool
beans. And actually, I know that he listens to the podcast because when I texted him, when I said we're about 30 minutes out, I usually let people know that. His response, cool beans. Flexing emoji, cool sunglasses guy emoji, thumbs up emoji.
Perfect.
Cool beans.
Like, that speaks to my soul.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. I would like cool beans to be the next thing that people know about the Massenomics podcast. Like add that to the list.
Your daughter is picking up on cool beans.
Yeah. Did you see? Like I'm teaching her to say it in different ways too. Yeah.
She doesn't know a ton of words, but cool
Cool
beans
beans.
is 2 of them.
Cool beans. Cool beans. And that's like getting her to, and like she'll repeat me saying it, but I'll be like, no, you have to like be. You can't just say cool beans. You have to do it
like
like
your vocal coach here.
low and high and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So we're working on cool beans.
That will probably be one of our more unique interviews in the way that we didn't really know a thing about the person.
No, that's cool though, and I think
that was fun.
We have a lot of cool guests that we're planning on interviewing in the upcoming future too, but also like we don't just want to interview. Although these people are cool, we don't just want to interview Dan Green and Steffi Cohn and all the strongest power lifters and strongmen.
Like just like having a world record doesn't mean that you're a good person to interview.
Right.
Or
And
a
I
person
mean,
you want to.
like we have interviewed Steffi and that's very cool. And of course, very fun, but like we're kind of looking at some of these as well in there where it's like, well, most of our listeners follow Immortal Barbell and those cartoons are funny. Like I think everyone agrees
to this fitness game in some way that's not just fitness.
Right. And I think it's probably for us and him an equally cool experience then because he's like, I probably haven't been on a podcast before. That's kind of cool. Like they're, so I think we got some more of those type of things coming up too that for people to get excited about.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Cool beans.
What else? That's probably about it, right?
That's probably about it. We should go through our ads here. Don't forget the most medium-sized check of all time.
That is the most medium. Actually, it's like, is it? Yeah, it's the most medium. It is the most medium. I've never seen one that medium before. Not even close to that medium.
No, me either.
Today's episode was brought to you by speaking of Steffi Cohn, Hybrid Performance Method. They are your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching, whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both. Hybrid has a program for you. They have dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline. Basically, whatever your training is, they've got coaching and programming and nutrition that can fit that training, that style. They've got it all. They've got it all. They even have discount codes for Massenomics, and that's MASS in all caps. That'll save you 5% on any training or nutrition membership for that entire life of the membership.
Just know if you're getting too in depth in your training, though, it could lead to depression. So be careful when you're going
As
down
we
that
heard
rabbit
from
hole.
the Olympic, what is it?
Olympic athletes.
What is the name of that again for people that want to? The weight of
the weight of gold.
Yeah, the weight of gold. Actually, gold is really heavy too.
Is it? Is gold? Is it that
Yeah.
sinks? Is that what it is? That gold is when
Gold.
they're panning? Is it gold the one that sinks, or does gold float?
It's really heavy. I know that it's like a bar of gold is extremely heavy. One thing.
What weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of gold, Tanner?
That's a trick question. I do have one thing because we've never done it before. I had this one, and as long as we're on this exact topic, I have to do it right now. And we'll get back to the ads here in a second. You know,
This is a little gift for the people that listen to the ads.
Yeah, someone that makes it this far. Our old segment, you may remember it. Some of you new listeners probably aren't even aware of it, actually, but
Fitness is finest.
It's not fitness is finest. We're talking about the weight of things.
Oh, who weighs more?
Who weighs more?
I forgot about that segment.
Yeah, who weighs more? And I do have one in the pipeline that we never did here, actually, that fits perfectly. I can't even. I cannot state enough how perfectly this fits in with everything we're talking about. So we have one bonus thing in today's Getting to Be Long episode. Who weighs more? Who or what weighs more here in this case? Steffi Cohn or 5 gold bars? And I'll tell you the dimensions of a gold bar, an actual gold bar.
I'm calculating in my hands right
7 inches long.
Okay.
3 5/8 inches deep.
Okay.
And 1 3/4 inches thick. So like we're looking at
It's
about
not like
that.
so it's not the size of a brick.
No, it's a gold bar is like that. So and 5 of those. 5 of those. So this
Like if I had to guess before this, I would have said a gold bar weighs 10 pounds. I'm
So 5 of
clearly,
those would
I'm
only be
clearly
50
wrong
pounds,
because
yeah.
that's only 50 pounds. So then the next thing is 5 of those is 20 pounds. Like a gold bar weighing 20 pounds seems kind of hefty.
And how much do you think? We kind of Steffi's competed in various weight classes, so we kind of know about what she weighs.
She's 115 to 130. She's somewhere in there.
Yep.
I mean, I would have assumed until you preface this with anything that she weighs
yeah.
more than 5 gold bars.
Especially after telling you those dimensions.
Yes,
you know,
I would assume Steffi weighs more, but I'm probably wrong.
Steffi Cohen will say she weighs 125 pounds. She's competed in 120. She competed in 132. Even say she weighs 132, the higher end of her weight classes. 5 gold bars weighs 137.5 pounds,
Wow.
more than Steffi Cohen, or 27.5 pounds per bar.
That's
So
more than I would have ever guessed.
Yeah, extremely heavy.
If you would have put the over-under at 25, I would have been like, oh, under for sure.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
at 20, I would have put it at
But isn't that a really good?
Yeah.
See why I had to bust that out.
Okay, so did we ever find out how much gold member's penis weighs, though? Was that ever discussed in any of the movies? Or maybe it was in one of the books, like where they explore the lore a little more?
Yeah, right. Yes. No, I don't know the answer to that. Is it 7 inches long?
I guess
3
if we find the
5/8 inches
dimensions,
thick?
we'll have to go back to the screen.
Well, we know how much gold weighs, and it was made of gold, correct?
So we should be able to figure this out.
So
the math.
do you know 7 inches long,
Is he
3
walking
5 inches is
he
wide?
walking around with a 27 pound penis? Or-
That would be horribly because eventually that has to attach to something that's not made of gold. Like it's got to be flesh at some point.
I guess the moral of the story is watch out for those smelting accidents.
Or
right?
Lannister's hand. Jamie Lannister, was that
Sure.
gold?
I don't know. Was it?
Maybe it wasn't
It
gold.
was probably some.
Because that would have been heavy as.
yeah,
That would have been like a 50-pound hand that he had to drag around.
Don't they have some substance that they Valyrian? It's probably like a Valyrian hand or something, right?
Right, yeah. What am I
Valyrian.
thinking? This is.
Get your
this
gold
is-
out of here. We're
This isn't
talking-
Earth. This is. Where's Game of Thrones at? Not Middle Earth, because that's.
Westeros?
Yeah.
Or is that the country, or was that the whole world?
I don't think that's the whole world.
It's been just long enough that I can't remember
Yeah.
these.
interesting
we should do a
things.
whole podcast where we take things
And just connect them.
No, we take like a series and things that people are really in love with, and do like a really like
Shitty review, like-
what was that thing
Yeah.
called? Like Harry Potter, and
Oh,
he has
yeah.
the,
Like
he
Harry
has the
Potter would be a
guy,
good one.
like the
Yeah.
old guy that has the beard, and he kind of likes
Yeah.
dragons. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Or
but
was that in
anyways,
Lord of the Rings? You know,
just
or is
an
that the
hour-
guy from Lord of the Rings?
Just an hour of butchering series. Like,
things that people really love and really know really well.
Yeah.
So there's at least a few listeners that are
and
like,
we just,
come on, idiot.
That'll be the new segment. Tanner and Tommy poorly explain a
Yeah,
series.
yeah, right.
Bad recaps with Tanner and Tommy.
Yeah. I think there's potential there.
I do too.
So each sponsor is going to take that long. That was the first one. The second one is Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the legendary Texas Power Bar. Visit them and buy one of their bars at texaspowerbars.com.
Tanner, you were talking really slow there, and it made me think of cereal.
Sarah Koenig.
Have you ever watched?
Let's explain cereal. I haven't listened to that for a few
so
months.
it's like this murder mystery thing,
And,
but they were like the first ones to do it.
Adnan, he's
Yeah, Syed.
he's Middle Eastern.
But Tanner, have you ever watched Portlandia?
No, but that's the guy. Okay, here we go. That's the guy from SNL that kind of, and the girl.
Carrie. I think it's Brownstein, or I think she's not off of SNL.
She wasn't on
No,
SNL?
she wasn't on
Oh,
SNL.
okay.
But Fred Armisen was, and he's very, very funny. But there is one episode where they are trying to be like cereal, and they're doing it like real. So everywhere they walk, they're like, and there he saw. And behind them is like a folk band playing the little cereal music, and it's so funny. And like they're at a guy's desk, and they're like, the papers rustled, and they like move his papers around. He's like, quit messing with my papers. And that is a really funny episode. I recommend if anyone is a fan of cereal.
Do you like Portlandia?
I love it. And my wife was
I've just never seen it.
I don't like that show. And she watched a few episodes, and now that is like her.
Okay,
that is like
she
her
likes it,
all the time show. It is.
I know it's popular.
If you're like a music fan, there's a ton of like every episode has, not every, but almost all the episodes have some type of cameo of a music person. So if you're into music, it's really, really funny. But even that, just the number of pop culture things that they're always doing, it is good.
This is what we need to do after each ad. We say we have a music thing to interject, so people have to listen to the
That reminds
ads.
me of a story.
Yeah.
Like, because now people are like, the ad started almost 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Why is this podcast still going?
So today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large, and I have something to follow up with at the end of the
these
Lifting
ads
Large.
are really getting sprinkled in the content here. So.
Yes, we should be getting paid double. Lifting Large. They have set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code MASS20 at checkout. So did you see that they are making a new Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I did.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, who we've featured. Keanu Reeves has been on the podcast a few times here that we've talked about him. So can you believe that they're remaking that? And also, who is that other actor?
Alex, is it Alex Winters? Is that his name?
Okay. Where has he been?
I don't think anywhere.
He's like, thank God we're making this movie. I'm broke.
Woo, Keanu, you saved me,
Yes.
bud.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of the first one. As in high school, I
There's
actually
certain
had a,
things that hold up and that are
Yeah.
prone to good remakes. I think that's a stretch.
Sir Genghis Khan, and
The originals are great. Like seeing the preview for the new one made me want to watch.
I actually haven't seen the preview. I've just seen like
Okay.
the image of the poster, and because there's someone else in it too. Who is the other person? There's someone else.
Was
that's kinda-
did the poster have like the phone booth in it?
Yeah, there's someone else I feel like that's kind of relevant to that's in it, and but not related to the originals. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Just that I had to add in my poor explanation
Right.
on something there.
Right. Okay. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. Last forever, just like Keanu Reeves' movie career.
Just like that.
Yep.
Doesn't end.
So that's our sponsors. Make sure to also go to our website. We've got a lot of cool stuff there. All the shirts that we released earlier this month. That's where you can sign up to become a Massenomics podcast supporting member. We have more people joining up for that all the time. I was wondering, do you think someday what would be cool? We do things for all the different levels of supporting members, and some people, there's different things here. And our highest level, which is insane, is the Platinum Lift Club. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, at some point in time, they only get like a minute, and we don't do any small talk, but we just, on the podcast, if you are a Lift Platinum level club, we call you just for like 60 seconds and say, hey, thanks for being a platinum level supporter.
Yeah. And then
maybe that's what
the stage is yours.
Yeah,
and you get
you get 60 seconds. So like, you could ask us anything, or if you just want to get out your political views.
But I do like that idea. 60 seconds might not be enough. It might be too much. We'll have to mess with that timeline.
Right.
I do like the idea.
But there's different things we're doing for all the different levels. But that could be like a platinum only level where you get like your. And we're not going to do this whole thing like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? You don't
get that.
You're on. Here you go.
The stage is yours.
Yeah, the stopwatch has started. And then we just hang up when...
It's like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when they're like, oh, ended up on click. Ooh, he didn't finish that.
It's like, damn it, C. So the supporting membership thing, sign up for that. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird. Far more importantly, make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
Make sure you get an entry in for the Massenomics stimulus package. $500 is on the line, and you can say that you own a medium-sized check. Later.